Everyone, Jason here. Welcome back to the channel now, where we cover enduring value in the market. Now, today I'm showing why Novo Nordisk is one of my top picks. I really see is as a blend of growth with a strong moat as well as undervaluation at the moment. Now, we'll dive into this unique edge and how it aligns with, let's say, Ted Weschler's investing framework in the healthcare industry, and the massive market opportunity and the rigorous valuation of where the stock is, or the intrinsic value of the stock. Now, if you're hunting for long-term winners, now stick around. I think this is going to be one that we have. All right. So if we look at the total market, diabetes is a global health crisis, right? It's affecting over 460 million people today and projected to hit about 700 million by 2045. Novo Nordisk is the undisputed leader in this space. Its flagship product, semaglutide, isn't just treating diabetes, it's a game changer in obesity and beyond. This company is solving real world problems with massive market potential. As value investors, we need a disciplined framework, right? So I lean on Ted Weschler's 3 criteria honed at Berkshire Hathaway that he shared with us. And it's really coming down to 3 things when you look at investing in healthcare companies, and one is the product more efficient, right? 2 is does it lower society's long-term costs? And 3 is the company shareholder-friendly. So on 1, semaglutide, sold as Ozempic and Wegovy, delivers superior glucose control and up to 15% weight loss, outpacing other therapies in clinical trials, right? Like usually the insulins or metformins and etc. For end users, it's also a leap of convenience, right? 1 pill a day with Ribulus, a single weekly injection versus taking meds with your meals and all that, right? This simply drives compliance and outcome, which is better for the end users, as well as the company itself, right? It creates more moat as they're not going to switch. And 2, on the impact of the lower cost side, we are seeing that is happening right away, right? By tackling obesity and diabetes, semaglutide reduce heart disease, surgical costs, and save billions in healthcare spending around the globe. And with this, I think it's sooner or later that more and more countries will continue to adopt semaglutide as becoming the new breadwinner for, let's say, insulin or metformin and those types of medication within the diabetic field. And with its expansion of use cases, this is definitely something that could be used for reducing any weight-related illness, basically, right? So that's definitely very good to see. Now, 3rd, is this company shareholder-friendly? And it really is, right? Novo Nordisk has raised dividends for over a decade with a 21% dividend increase to $165 a share proposed for 2024. In 2024, it purchased $4.7 billion in shares, a solid but modest figure, as significant capital was actually allocated to an $11.7 billion acquisition of 3 Catalent plants, which basically manufacture a lot of these Wegovy and Ozempic medication. And this move, while tempering near-term buybacks, bolsters Novo Nordisk's moat, actually, by expanding production capabilities to ensure that they are able to meet soaring GLP-1 demand, setting the stage for robust long-term returns. Now, let's talk about growth, right? So semaglutide started with diabetes, then disrupted obesity with Wegovy. Now, but the horizon is vast, right? We see exciting news about Novo Nordisk is on track to launch an oral version of Wegovy with the FDA accepting its application for a 25 milligram daily pill in May 2025. Now, the decision is expected by the end of the year, potentially making it the first oral GLP-1 for weight loss management. Now, it also has the only, I believe, semaglutide pill, oral pill, with Ribulus. So it's definitely in playing both sides. And the reason why this is so important is because pills are much easier to transport, making it much more attractive to serve and to lower costs across markets. All right. So we know that the pill beyond the pill works beyond obesity. We are seeing semaglutide really showing promise in curbing addiction cravings like alcohol and nicotine, and also reducing heart failures by up to 20% in trials. So all these are very, very positive things that we're seeing, right? It's the total addressable market across diabetes, obesity, addiction, cardiovascular, and now weight loss solutions are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Over $500 billion and growing. And Novo Nordisk is just not leading it, it's shaping basically this revolution as they were the first to market. Now, we also need to think about investing where we need to see, is all these great things happening? Is the company trading at a reasonable valuation for us to buy in? So if we want to find out the intrinsic value, I think we need to focus on the discounted cash flow model, as Warren has told us multiple times, that really the value of a company is all the cash that it will generate and return it, of course, to us at a discount rate, right? So that's basically a discounted cash flow model. Now, with this, we also need to remove all the short-term noise about tariffs, trade policy, political headlines that are just potential opportunities for us to buy in at very reasonable valuations. Now, in 2024, Novo Nordisk generated about $10.7 billion in free cash flows. Now, using a conservative discounted cash flow model of, let's say, 12-year revenue growth of 5 years, reflecting basically this GLP-1 market expansion, a 5% terminal growth, which is well below historical healthcare trends, and let's say a 10% discount rate. Now, this will basically bring us close to about a valuation of around $65, $66 in terms of intrinsic value, which is basically where the company's stock is trading right now. So this means that the company is trading at a very reasonable price today. Now, if it gets lower, would be better. Of course it is. But the question is, would you buy it now to kind of lock in this fair price for a wonderful company, or do you want to wait to buy it at a wonderful price? And that's something that we don't know, right? Will it continue to go down in May? So I have actually been nibbing at the stock when it falls below to kind of try to get as much of that margin as possible. But I'm very comfortable buying it at the 60s range, just because I know that on a long-term basis this will compound, and missing out because of a few pennies here and there will not help me out going in the long run. Now, aside when we talk about this, right, we need to talk about the competition, right? So this is not something I've not talked about, right? So the moat is strong, as basically a duopoly between right now Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk. So right now, with the market the way it is, it's a duopoly. There are definitely other players in the market that are trying to break into this thing. They're actually very far behind, or not far behind, but they're still years behind. For example, Viking Therapeutics, that had a really good phase 2 trials, are just not going to phase 3 trials, will definitely then delay for another year or two. And then we have approvals, which will continue to delay. So we're looking at 2 to 3 years out before we can see another credible, basically, threat towards this duopoly that's happening right now. And really, it speaks to the first mover advantage that we're seeing. Now, for Eli Lilly, now they're actually doing really, really well. Based on the recent data, they are in terms of weight loss at least, they are the undisputed leader. The efficacy of their drugs is definitely better than what has been shown at Novo Nordisk, which is causing sometimes the stock to plummet on news like that. And the issue is that will people shift basically their preference from Novo Nordisk to Eli Lilly's drugs like Zepbound and etc. I think that is something that will need to be seen. Now, my guess is likely that you don't need the best in class per se at the moment, because a few things. At the moment, Novo Nordisk is ahead of Eli Lilly in terms of a lot of the offerings, except let's see, the injectable Zepbound versus Wegovy type deal. Eli Lilly will catch up in terms of the pills and the sorts, but in the short term, they are still the leader. Now, once they do come to the market, there will be some sharing of the pie, but my guess is that the pie will actually continue to be enlarging because there was this shortage of drugs that has just ended. I think last year, like December of last year or so. So all these things will help in its favor. And with some of the deals, like for example, with him and hers and CVS and like that, where Novo Nordisk drug is actually the preferred drug, then there is some senses in seeing that perhaps the two can live in the market, and that it's really getting those distribution channels locked up to ensure that they can be the provider of choice when it's given to consumers. So while there is a superior product out there, it will gain some share, but perhaps we'll see a bigger share from the market itself overall. All right, so Novo, and during this whole process, right, Novo is not absolutely doing nothing, right? It's also refining formulation for better efficacy, is scaling production capacity to meet soaring demand needs, is locking in global distribution deal, right? This is just it's doing a lot of the right things, and this is just not a lead, it's a moat, right? It's building company capacity that takes years, and trust that takes years for people to do, and Novo is already there, just like Eli Lilly. So, when I look at Novo Nordisk, it's really kind of an investment that, we kind of dream about, right? It's a massive growing market, a durable competitive moat, aligned with societal goods, basically meaning that it helps society more by using its product than not, right? And it is extremely shareholder friendly in terms of share buybacks and dividends that it's been paying out. So at around the $65 range is trading, I think relatively conservatively at fair value. If you reduce the discount rate, for example, to 8%, meaning you're going to get that hurdle of 8% a year, we're trading at a very good margin of safety here. So I think this is an area that I am parking my capital, and I'll continue to allocate more of my capital towards, assuming that the price stays constant. But anyway, what do you think? Are you eyeing Novo Nordisk? What's your take on the GLP-1 drug craze? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button, remember, if you find this valuable, and subscribe for more deep dive value investing ideas. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.